When Princess Ilya of the Thren Empire first saw Earth, she laughed, and the sound rang across the observation deck like glass breaking under sunlight. Below her, the planet hung in the void like a drowned ember. Its oceans dim, its continents scarred, its atmosphere wrapped in ash and silver storm. A world that seemed to have spent its last miracle a very long time ago. She turned toward the only human in the chamber. A broad-shouldered envoy with tired eyes and a face carved by old hardship, and asked, "This is the sacred home your species still sings about. This is the world you crossed 3 sectors to reclaim. It looks dead." The human rested one hand on the rail and looked down with the calm of someone greeting an old wound that never stopped mattering. His name was Elias Vale, and he answered so softly the whole chamber had to lean closer. "Dead is what impatient people call a thing they do not understand. Earth is waiting," the officer smirked. The princess smiled, and the silence turned sharp, because every empire believes it can recognize an ending when it sees one. That was their first mistake. Princess Ilya ordered a descent at once. Partly from curiosity, mostly from pride. She had been raised on conquest, on data, on beautiful conclusions. And Thren surveys had already judged Earth worthless. Biosphere collapsed, population scattered, infrastructure terminal, planetary value negligible. But Elias never argued with their numbers. He simply guided her shuttle down through bruised cloud and black rain into the ruins of an old coastal region, where towers rose from floodwater like the bones of drowned giants. When she stepped onto the cracked landing platform, the world seemed eager to prove her right. No city lights, no traffic, no anthem, only wind, only rust, only long weeds moving through broken transit rails. Then Elias led her inland, through streets split open by roots, past a museum wall glowing with blue moss, past silverfish swimming through the shattered halls of an old government building, past vines heavy with fruit climbing what had once been a war memorial, and slowly the princess noticed what her empire had missed. Ruin was not empty, ruin was crowded, the planet had not stopped working. It had simply stopped performing for observers. Then Elias said the line that made her glance at him again. "What you call dead is often just life refusing bad terms." Then the ground woke up, not with violence, not with disaster, but with memory. Panels hidden beneath silt slid open across the valley. Towers disguised under stone and vine lifted into the rain. Deep below them, old generators coughed, shuddered, and bloomed into power. Then restoration drones poured out of camouflaged vaults, their metal skins green with lichen, their lenses blinking awake like eyes after winter. Princess Ilya took one stunned step back, and Elias finally explained, during the collapse wars, humanity knew it could not save every city, so it built something harder. A patient machine meant to save time itself. Seed banks, weather archives, coral maps, soil cultures, ocean cleaners, atmosphere weavers, code libraries, buried together in a planetary net designed to sleep until the poison thinned and the air stopped trying to kill anything that breathed it. We did not leave Earth behind. Elias told her, we taught it how to wait for us. The rain around them softened as a fresh shield grid spread heat through the air, and across the horizon, long-dead districts began to shimmer with power. That was when the princess understood that she was not touring a grave. She was standing inside a held breath. By dusk, they reached the command vault, and the people waiting there unsettled her more than the machines had. They were not soldiers in polished armor or officials rehearsing gratitude. They were returners, farmers, mechanics, teachers, divers. Children with repair grease on their hands, old women carrying tablets older than the empire itself. Descendants of orbital refugees and station workers who had grown up on poisoned legends and came back anyway. One girl was tuning pollinator drones while humming to herself. An old man planted rice in reclaimed floodwater while arguing with a weather model. A boy proudly lifted a tray of black living soil as if showing off treasure. Elias opened his hand toward them and said, "This is what you call dead. People who can love a thing before it loves them back. Before Princess Ilya could answer, alarms burst from the ridge. Not human alarms, imperial ones. One of her own admirals had called in an assault wing. Frightened by a world waking beyond Thrin control, the first plasma trails tore across the clouds. Some returners flinched, none ran. Elias did not beg the princess to save them. He only turned to the others and said, "Begin Phase 7. And Earth answered like thunder learning precision. Shield domes rose from sea and valley. Orbital mirrors hidden among junk belts flashed awake. Ancient defense lattice stitched blue fire through the storm. Every incoming fighter lost weapons, engines, guidance, and dropped harmlessly into the ocean like sparks into rain. Princess Ilya watched Imperial warcraft fall before a planet her people had labeled a corpse, and something inside her training split open, because she finally saw the human genius her empire had never understood. Humans were not remarkable because they never broke. They were remarkable because they could break. Grieve, starve, scatter, bury their dead, lose their home, and still build a future that waited longer than any empire's patience when the sky quieted. She stood beside Elias on a cliff above fields that had not existed that morning. Below them, restoration towers hummed like newborn constellations rooted in mud. All our records said your world ended. She said. Elias looked at the lights, the greenhouses, the children running where scan reports had predicted only ash, and his answer would later cross the galaxy like a warning. Records love endings, humans don't, from orbit. Earth still looked scarred, still looked tired, still wore its ruin openly. But the princess of the Thren Empire never called it dead again, because now she knew the truth. On Earth, silence was not surrender, emptiness was not failure. And what looked to the universe like an ending was often just humanity and its wounded planet gathering breath.